most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together, we are the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
All right, today we're going to talk about way better than stretching. This is the fourth one in a series of these for plantar fasciitis. So this is going to be way better than stretching for that. Right.
Well, it feels better, too.
On the bottom of the
easier.
So you can do this without spending any money. You just got to steal some things from little kids. And, or from your...
You can get it at the dollar store. You can get some of these cheap,
So, by the way, if you're new to our channel, please take a second to subscribe to us. We provide videos how to stay healthy, fit, pain-free, and we upload every day.
Every day.
What are we giving away here? The Booyah Stick?
Booyah!
Oh, yeah. Go to the bobandbrad.com. Go to the giveaway section. This week, we're giving away the Booyah Stick.
Here, give me that thing, Bob.
Yeah.
Booyah!
I don't do it well enough, apparently. Okay, go to Facebook. It'll also be pinned to the top of the page. Go to Twitter, Instagram, TikTok if you want a 60-second version of our program.
That's right. I just wanted to be part of the Booyah. And we have podcasts available.
We have podcasts, great interviews. In fact, we interviewed this guy, Kelly Starrett.
Yes.
Now, he's not the one that came up with these mobilizations.
Dr. Kelly Starrett.
Yeah, Dr. Kelly Starrett. He's not the one that came up with these, but he certainly,
promotes them.
Promotes it, popularizes. How do you say that?
How about promote?
Promotes it. And he wrote the book, The Supple Leopard. But this is, this is a common method. There's everybody in the know uses.
Well, if you're in the know.
Yeah.
But, don't get confused by the supple leopard. It's not about animals or leopards. It's actually about muscles.
Becoming supple like a leopard.
Yeah, you very fast, quick.
So Kelly gives the example, in fact, of let's say you're going to stretch a muscle. And the reason why stretching doesn't often work is because you're going to stretch the part that's already stretched out.
So this represents a muscle.
This represents a muscle that's thicker on one end, thinner on the other end, or maybe it's adhesed down on this end.
Sure.
So it's, you want to get this. This is the part of the muscle you want to work, is the thicker adhesed down part.
When you stretch it.
Yeah. So when I stretch, look where the stretch is occurring though.
All in one spot.
Yeah.
This is a real good testimonial or
it's
demonstration.
Stretching on the thin part and right there instead of the thick part. So to get this thick part, we're actually going to want to use devices such as a ball and put pressure right on that muscle right there.
And make it supple like the leopard.
Yep. So where is the spot that you want to hit with the muscle or the fascia, which we're going to talk about on the bottom of the foot? You want to hit the spots that are tender. Now on the foot, there's not a lot of room there. So I'm going to go ahead and show on my foot here. This is normally where you feel plantar fascia.
Right by the calcaneus.
Yep. And often those are some minor tears. So we want to mobilize all these tissues here, the plantar fascia, in order to take less stress on that area.
Right.
So one thing we can start off with very simply is when you're on the floor, a good focal pressure point to use is a golf ball.
Golf ball, yeah.
Now, if that's too much for you to start off with, you could use a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball. But just start by rolling your foot. Avoid the tender spot if that hurts. Just work in the area that doesn't.
So with your hand, or are you going to put it on the floor?
No, put it on the floor.
Oh.
You can do it while you're working at the office.
Sure.
You can just...
So a golf ball is smaller in diameter. It's very hard. So that's pretty aggressive. It's going to get in. And if it's too aggressive, now you're going to have that tender spot right by your heel. You don't want to work right over that. If it's really painful, you're going to work around it, and actually you'll feel kind of good. And you get that fascia loosened up as well as the tissues around it and the muscles underneath it. Those little small muscles that are in your feet to help control your foot motion.
Dr. McGill recommends kind of 3 different methods. One is the smash method, and that's static. Like let's say...
You mean Starrett. Starrett.
Is that what they say?
McGill. He's the back man.
Dr. Kelly Starrett. Yes, thank you for
It's all right. I just want to...
So the first method is just called the smash method. In that method, you're just going to push down on it and find a tender spot.
I got one
right
there.
And you hold it until you see improvement, hopefully. So, if it's not tender, you really don't need to do the smash method on that area.
You'll find it even on a healthy foot like mine. I was on a tender spot, and it already feels better by that static pressure
Now,
after 10
the
seconds.
other thing is we want to work the entire posterior chain here up into the calf here too, and that's what he calls working upstream from it. The problem.
Do you think he's a fisherman?
I know he might be.
But yeah, so that all these muscles here connect directly to the heel through the calcaneus, and which becomes part of the fascia. Mhm.
So that needs to be mobilized also. So you might take, here I have a softball, and I might smash on that and let that, find a tender spot. I might even do some flossing here,
Sure,
Brad. I
get
might
some
move my
motion
ankle up
here.
and down like that. That works really well for that.
If you need a little more pressure, you could put your other leg
Yep.
over the top and just use gravity.
And you can go back and forth.
Yep.
And there's what he calls the pressure wave, where you actually roll back and forth on it.
Mhm.
And that's what I think people are accustomed to doing.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
but I'm going to show you another one, Brad, that is actually a different one. He
I
calls it-
like this technique. I do want
yeah.
to say, when you're doing that smash method where you got that constant pressure, typically after about 30 seconds, you should feel a release or it feel better.
Right.
If it's really tight and tender and it just is hurting like crazy, it may not be ready for it yet.
Here's a different method. You can start with a lacrosse ball if you want, but you actually push on an area and then you twist the ball. Push on the area and then twist the ball.
So you're twisting the skin, kind
Yeah,
of.
you're twisting the tissues, and it just gives a different feel, and it helps with tissues that are adhesed down. Here's a little prickly ball.
Yeah, here, do this. See, it lights up. It's more effective that
Yeah.
way.
Now this does really nicely on this.
Yeah, it really does. I am sold on those. I did get that from a dollar store.
Yeah, right. You find these all over. I don't know.
Yeah, and I just saw I was walking through there. And I gotta get that and
you
it
even
feels
wanna-
good.
You even want to get up into the toes here,
Sure.
because that fascia extends up into the toes. So this is just a great way to work those toes. I
Yeah.
actually do the top of my foot too.
That's for another.
Another issue. Yeah.
Yeah, if you use a ball like this, it doesn't work so good because it just slips. But
Right.
if you get something a little grippy, it.
Lacrosse ball works, but not as well as this.
Yeah,
This
so-
really does the work, and you can actually roll your foot on top of that too if you want.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna touch it after you get on the bottom. Yeah, this just feels good, and it's not so aggressive as the lacrosse ball. You might start with this one and go to a more aggressive one.
So again, you're going to get the bottom of the foot.
Mhm.
When it allows you, you're going to actually hit the painful spot, and then you're also going to work on the calf muscle.
Yeah.
Now you can't do this in bed, unfortunately, because it's just going to be too soft.
Yep. You got to
So
get on the floor like
You're going to have to
this.
get on the floor for this one,
Mhm.
or you're going to have to. What's nice about it, even if you can't get on the floor, you can quite often just put the foot down and work on the bottom of the foot.
Yeah,
anyway.
you could actually do this with a chair and then a stool,
Sure.
and then you don't have to get on the floor.
Yeah, then you can hit the
Yep,
calf
there
muscle
you
that
go.
way.
Yep.
And
There
you
you
might
go.
use
We solved another problem.
Yeah, you might use a bigger ball on that one if
Oh,
it sinks in a little
yes.
bit.
Yep.
So,
Oh, there you go.
all right.
Yeah.
So when the neighbor kid hits the ball into your yard, just keep it. Don't give it back.
Well, if it
Be
goes
that
through
guy.
the window, it basically is a freebie. I mean, that's a given.
It's on my yard. It's my ball.
Well, yeah. Well,
I'm gonna be that crabby old guy.
Yep, it's like the movie Sandlot, and if you haven't watched it,
Yeah.
it's important no matter how old you are. It's Sandlot's
You feel like a
it's
kid again.
classic.
All right.
Be careful.
You're killing me, Smalls.